Alright, so we got a fuel filter head here off of a Duramax. The truck is leaking fuel through it and also sucking air. So it's a pretty common problem. The primer pump on this one, when you press it down, it's doing it now, it's off the truck. It doesn't like to return, it gets stuck. My guess is we're going to see some damaged O-rings underneath there. So we went ahead and got it pulled off the truck. It's just 2 wires and 2 bolts. You need to disconnect the water and fuel sensor on the bottom of the filter and the fuel heater. Once we get it off, go ahead and take your bleeder screw out. I always buy the kit that comes with the new one because they do get torn up. I don't know if you guys, yeah, there we go. They do get torn up. So I'm gonna go ahead and just replace that to start with. Everything else in this is going to be a T20 Torx. So there are 3 of them that hold down the priming button. And the back side here, making sure you guys can see this. This is the ground for the fuel heater, and we'll go back in that position when we're done. So we got that off. We can take the top of the priming pump off. Set that aside. Take the spring out. Lift off the base here. We have an O-ring right here. Set that aside and go and replace it to start with. And then we have 2 seals on this. Now if you can see, this one kind of goes that way and this one goes this way. You need to make sure that when we reinstall the seals, we reinstall them to do the same thing. That way we have a wiper in each direction. Yeah, the bottom one's got a tear in it. No effort at all, it came off in 2 pieces. There we go. Got the new O-rings on there. Just put a little bit of diesel on them. Same with the O-ring. There should be some diesel inside the filter housing. Just wipe it on there. You just want it to be lubricated a little bit so when we go together we don't tear a seal. And we leave it off right now. Flip it over. There are 2 more T20s down here on the base. Take off. Then we'll have 2 more O-rings to replace, and we can reassemble the whole thing and put it back on the truck. There really isn't much to these. They're pretty easy. The kit's about, depending on where you get it from, $30 to $40. This one I got from O'Reilly locally. They had it next day for the guy. Just pull straight up on the connector here, and you can take the fuel heater wire off because you're going to need to for the next part. And there we go. It's off. I just pressed down on the lug for the fuel heater. There's a spring and a check ball in here. So, flip them over, put them back in the housing. Now, there is a little valve here. Just make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Don't touch that. It does not come in the kit. That is a non-serviceable part. So right here, we have an O-ring. Pull that out. When I reinstall them, I make sure that they go back on the filter housing. That way we don't lose them. And there's one right here at the base of where the fuel heater plugs in. So put that one on there. There's some diesel on my tailgate here, so we'll go ahead and wipe that on there. Wipe on that one. When you go to press it down, just kind of work it back and forth a little bit with your fingers till it's down. And these 2 bolts get reused. They do not come in the kit. Sorry if this stuff's getting out of frame. I'm working out here live right now. This is a live stream when it's recorded, so I don't know what you guys can see. So just kind of work back and forth on the 2 screws until they're tight. You want to go across it. You don't want to break this. Just a little bit past snug. If that's done, flip it back over. Alright, base goes down. The bigger spring goes in. Priming button, and then the base. Now this kit does come with 3 new screws, so we are going to go ahead and use those. So when we go to push this down, I can already hear it trying to prime. That's good. It's a step in the right direction. The old one wouldn't do that. I need to get a vise on this truck. It'd be nice to have something to hold this. Alright, 1 screw. Second one. Get started. And while we're holding it down, the 3rd screw is the ground for the fuel heater. Once again, you don't want to go too tight on these. You don't want to break anything. Just snug. And take your fuel heater. Just snap back on. And then before we're done, I always like to check them. So this is the inlet for the fuel. Just take your finger, put it over there. Hit the priming pump a couple times. Hit all the vacuum. So that fixes the problem. So that is a rebuild on a Duramax fuel filter head. They're not hard to do. So after this, there are just 2 bolts go in the back here. They're 12 millimeters into the block, or the head. Put a new fuel filter on it. Go ahead and prime the truck up after you hook the fuel lines up. They're just held down with spring clips, and the truck's ready to go. When these go bad, you will sometimes see a fuel leak. You'll run into problems losing prime. The truck will run for about 10 seconds and then shut down. This is a common issue with these. The rebuild kit's $30. A basic set of hand tools and you can rebuild them no problem. They're not something to be afraid of. They're pretty easy to do. If you can change the fuel filter, I have all the confidence that you can rebuild one of these. But I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to go get this truck put back together and get it back on the road. Have a good one, guys.